Hi guys. Today I'm just going to walk through how you can think about giving your reader enough information as you go over these historical examples for them to understand it, even though they haven't read the same sources you have, they don't have your same background knowledge. It's really easy to forget that people coming into your paper or even coming into a conversation don't know what you do. I come across it all the time in teaching. I'm like, oh, they know my plan. Let me just tell them this. But you got to give whoever's listening to you or reading your work enough background information that they can make sense of it, even though they don't have all the same background as you do. So to do that, we're going to go over an example that we're all definitely familiar with. We are going to think about when community roosts closed because of coronavirus. So we're thinking about the 5 W's and H. We all know who was involved, right? What happened? School was shut down. When it happened, this March. Where did it happen? Brooklyn. Why did it happen? In this case, it was a little bit confusing because I was like, oh, there's two parts of why. There's why this whole thing was happening in general. There's sort of a long-term why about the problem, which is that coronavirus had been spreading and was now affecting people in New York. And you guys are thinking about people who are engaged in social action, people who are fighting problems with solutions. So there's also the solution why, the short term why they chose to do what they did, which was in order to prevent the spread of the virus, experts urged people to stay at home. And since schools bring a lot of people together, school leaders decided they were one of the places that needed to close. And how it happened, they made the decision to close over the weekend and then notified teachers and families. So this seems like a whole lot of information. You're like, how am I going to get that in my essay? Really, there's different ways you can put it all together. If you've chosen option A for your outline, where you're going really deep on one example in that paragraph, you may put in really all that information and just tie it together and say something like, in the March of 2019, an infectious disease called coronavirus had ravaged communities across the world and was spreading quickly in New York area. In order to prevent the spread of the virus, you see even like the same language there. Experts urged people to stay at home and limit their contact with other people. Since schools bring so many people together in shared spaces, many schools, including Community Roots Middle School in Brooklyn, decided to shut down to prevent the spread of coronavirus. CRMS co-directors Aaron and Perrin made the decision to close the school over the weekend and notified teachers and families. That's a whole lot, and I would only do that if I had outline option A, where I'm really going deep on one example. If I'm just trying to get to the things, how am I going to cut it down? Really, I'm just simplifying the why and the how, because the other things only take like one word or one phrase to do. So I cover the basics in March of 2019, an infectious disease called coronavirus began spreading in the New York area. To prevent the spread of the disease, many schools and businesses temporarily shut down, including Community Roots Middle School in Brooklyn. We still cover all the bases, but we don't go into the details of exactly what was happening in more depth, like long-term and short-term why. I'm really just giving more basic overview of the problem. So as you work today, you don't need to fill out, unless it will help you, you don't need to go through and write all this out. Some of you already have it in your notes and that'll be really helpful. But the way you can use the 5 W's and H is instead describe the situation based on your research and then use it as a checklist. Go back through and say, do I name where this happened? Do I say who was involved? Did I explain in this short reason why it happened or how it happened or when? Or did I just expect that they'll know? Especially these ones, it's easy to forget, but they're also really short and easy to put in. So if you use it as a checklist, you'll be in good shape to make sure that your reader is going to understand your historical example because you gave them enough information, even if they've never heard of what you're talking about before. Okay? So you've got this. Go to the next slide and you'll